Picture this, a state that rocketed from a landscape dotted with small farms and quiet towns to a hub of vibrant city life at a pace that outstripped nearly everyone else in America. But then, the momentum slowed to a crawl. Welcome to Oregon's remarkable journey of urbanization and the unexpected twists unfolding right now. In the realm of business insights, as featured on Oregon Live, this story dives deep into how Oregonians have reshaped their living spaces over decades. Published on October 26, 2025, at 7:07 a.m. and last updated at 7:46 a.m., this piece is penned by Mike Rogaway from the Oregonian Oregon Live. For more than 50 years, the proportion of Oregon's residents calling cities home has skyrocketed, transforming the state from one dominated by rural lifestyles into a predominantly urban society. This rapid evolution has been one of the fastest nationwide, fundamentally altering Oregon's identity. It created a stark divide, politically, economically, and culturally, between the bustling Portland metro area and the quieter small towns and countryside scattered throughout the rest of the state. Once far more rural than the country as a whole, Oregon now closely resembles the national average in its urban makeup. The bulk of this transformation happened before 2010, with urbanization rates tapering off significantly since then, not just in Oregon but across the entire United States. To put it simply for newcomers to demographic discussions, urbanization refers to the shift of people from scattered rural farms and villages into densely packed cities, often driven by job opportunities, amenities, and modern conveniences. Digging into the numbers, as tracked by Portland State University's Population Research Center, about one-third of Oregon's population resided in rural areas back in 1970. The trend accelerated in the 1980s and exploded in the 1990s, fueled mainly by explosive growth in Portland's outskirts. By that time, over 80% of residents were city dwellers, a testament to how suburbs morphed into urban enclaves. Two major forces were behind the surge. Cities like Portland expanded, and nearby rural spots became much more densely populated, prompting the U.S. Census Bureau to officially reclassify them as urban. Ethan Sheridan, who leads the Population Research Center, credits much of this shift to Senate Bill 100, Oregon's groundbreaking land use legislation enacted in 1973. This law established urban growth boundaries that encouraged concentrated development in cities while curbing the spread of low-density sprawl. Think of it as drawing lines on the map to keep new buildings and communities clustered together, preventing endless suburban creep. It promoted urban density and discouraged sprawl, Sheridan explains, acting as a catalyst for the state's urbanization wave. Another pivotal player, in his opinion, was MAX, the light rail system serving the Portland region. Launched in 1986 amid Oregon's urban surge, it connected 3 metro counties and boosted density by making commuting easier and more appealing. This era also saw tech giants like Intel ramping up in Hillsborough and athletic apparel leader Nike expanding near Beaverton, drawing workers and families into the area. But it wasn't just Portland stealing the spotlight. Deschutes County, home to Bend and other outdoor havens, outpaced everyone else in the state. Starting with fewer than 28,000 urban residents in 1990, it ballooned to over 140,000 by 2020, a fivefold leap, showcasing how a mix of natural beauty, recreation, and economic shifts can turn a place around. And this is the part most people miss. For the most part, that urban boom wrapped up over a decade ago. Between 2010 and 2020, the percentage of urban dwellers actually declined in both Oregon and the U.S. as a whole. While we don't have full urban stats post-2020 census, growth in the heavily urban Portland area has flatlined since the pandemic. Meanwhile, rural regions are showing surprising strength. We see lots of rural areas leveling off or gaining population around the state, Sheridan notes. He points out that only one rural county, Grant, saw its numbers drop from 2010 to 2020, settling at 7,200 residents. On the flip side, household incomes are climbing fastest in rural counties across central Oregon, as highlighted in a related article. But here's where it gets controversial. What does the future hold for these rural spots? Sheridan muses about the challenge of predicting which areas might become abandoned, ghost towns as older populations age out, versus those attracting new settlers. A rural revival isn't guaranteed. It faces tough hurdles like demographic shifts and practical barriers. Oregon's overall population is the oldest in the western U.S., with rural counties even more so than urban ones. I think broadband access and airport/train/highway travel times still present significant obstacles to small-town living for folks who want to be connected to Portland, Sheridan says. Yet, he adds a glimmer of hope. But maybe more young people will want to be homesteaders, and in that case, there's lots of opportunities still in rural parts of Oregon. This sparks debate. Is it wise to push for more urban density, or should we embrace rural homesteading? Do policies like urban growth boundaries truly protect the environment, or do they stifle natural growth? What if the renaissance in rural areas leads to uneven development, leaving some communities behind? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you see Oregon's rural future as a comeback story or a fading echo? Agree or disagree in the comments, and let's discuss. This is Oregon Insight, the Oregonian's weekly exploration of the data shaping the state's economy. Check out previous editions for more deep dives. Note, if you buy a product or sign up via links on our site, we might earn a commission. By browsing here, you agree to our user agreement and privacy policy, where your interactions and data may be collected by us and partners.